Howdy, folks. So here's some source evaluation practice that I want us to go through with working with those four criteria that I gave you in the previous video. So looking at how are we going to actually evaluate authority, purpose, currency, and accuracy when we find information on the internet. So you can kind of see my evaluation scale here is we're going to go through a website an article that I found online, and I kind of want you to grade each of these four areas from F to A, and you can kind of press pause and take a look at my kind of grading criteria here. And the website that we're going to look at is this article about a World Health Organization gaming disorder diagnosis from thenextweb.com. So I have this posted up in Google Classroom that I want you to take a look at. And I'd love for you to try to look at this article first and see what you can find and how you would practice on your own to see what you can come up with for kind of grades and evaluations of those four criteria areas. So I'll have you press pause and do that right now. And when you come back, hopefully you went and did it. I will walk you through, here's kind of my evaluation. Here's how I would approach this. So here's the link that I sent you guys to is the WHO makes gaming disorder official despite industry pushback. So maybe you're researching effects of video games on teenagers today, and you came across this this article about a gaming disorder diagnosis from the World Health Organization. I'd have some questions of, okay, first one that I'm going to have is what in the world is TNW? So I clicked on their homepage and takes me to here. It looks like it's a tech website. I don't know much about it, but they have information about Elon Musk and Tesla, about NASA and alien life, computer chip shortages. And if I scroll down here to the bottom, I'm looking for an About Us page. I don't see one, but I see that TWN is a Financial Times company. So I opened up Financial Times and I went here. So obviously TWN is owned by the Financial Times, but again, I don't know much about this company, so I'm going to keep doing some scrolling and some research. And I found the About Us page, and they look pretty legitimate. They say there's a world-leading news organization that focuses on kind of news reporting. My guess is like specifically financial news reporting. And if TNW is owned by them, probably at least they have a somewhat credible parent organization, though I'm not too sure about this company itself. So it's a little questionable. Next thing I might take a look at is Rachel Kaiser. Let's take a look and see who she is. So it says she's a writer and former game critic from Central Texas. Cool. She enjoys gaming, history stories. Interesting. All right. So at least she's listed as a gaming critic from Central Texas, seemingly writing a reporter about the gaming industry. We've got a link to all of the articles that she's written, so she seems to be well published, at least on this site, in terms of video game reporting. So those things kind of check out. She seems like a credible person to be reporting on a gaming disorder diagnosis from the World Health Organization. So next thing I'm going to do is kind of scan through this article and take a look at some of the links that it has. So it has some information posted from the World Health Organization. I like that. Looks like they've talked to some people, or at least sourced some information from the WHO and the Electronic Software Association. When I spoke to the founder of Game Quitters, I don't know what Game Quitters is, but that's usually a good thing. Send a link to another article to show that, like, hey, I actually talked to people to write this report. They have other sources linked here too, like Bloomberg, which is a news site as well. That's all good information that checks out. Next thing that I might take a look at is just Googling the Next Web reliability. So I just typed in the Next Web reliability here, and this first link that came up was the media fact check bias, which is actually a pretty decent site because it's going to it's a non-proprietary site, meaning no one's really making money off of this. And they just kind of rank different, like the credibility of different websites. So it's getting kind of a mixed review in terms of factual reporting. Maybe not the most reliable source on the internet. And the last thing that I might do is do gaming disorder, WHO. Cool. So it looks like the World Health Organization does have something on their website about this diagnosis of gaming disorder. So that's good. And there's a number of other sites who are also talking about the WHO designation of gaming disorder. So while I do have some questions about who the Next Web is, I've never really heard of that website before. Seems like everything else is checking the boxes that I need to. So here's what my evaluation would end up being. Authority, I'd give it a B because the source is a little sketchy, but it looks like we have a tech reporter, a gaming reporter talking about a decision that's going to affect their industry. I'm hoping that Rachel Kaiser did her research. Purpose, again, I'm giving it a B, not quite an A, because they're reporting on news that's important to their industry of tech and gaming. There's not much persuasion here. As I scanned it, it looked like it was just kind of factually reporting, hey, here's what different people are saying about this diagnosis. The author themselves weren't giving their opinion, which was good. Currency was pretty good. It was published in 2019, and I didn't see many other sites that were publishing much more recent information. And accuracy, I also think is pretty high. It had good sources and it had its good links. As I was scanning and kind of reading through that article, I didn't see any health professionals interviewed, and I think that would really help the accuracy because it seemed like that piece was missing. They would talk to a lot of like gaming industry people and why they didn't like that diagnosis, but they didn't talk to any health professionals. So that's kind of how I would go through these four criteria here, and that's kind of what I'll be asking you guys to do on your own. All right. Good luck, folks. Hope that little tutorial helped you out.